playing together?
Oh, that was a long time ago.
He was in the World Cup squad with
All right.
team. This is Ravindra Krishnakumar.
Both fast bowlers. He does more like a fast bowler. Should be a spinner.
When Mr. Garni de Sanaka invited me to come to Sri Lanka, because I was living in Australia at the time, and he and Garni de Sanaka and Gunasena, yeah, they were in Sydney, I was living in Melbourne, and I got a call that they wanted to see me, and I went to Sydney, sat down, chat with them. He told me he was going to England to see if he get permission to get Sri Lanka into get test status for Sri Lanka, and he would like me to come and be the coach. Well, of course I was very enthusiastic and felt very proud that he thought of me and thought that he would like me to coach in Sri Lanka. So I accepted and came here, and I was delighted when I came because I saw a lot of youngsters with lots of ability. Arjuna was one of the ones I saw him playing, and in a particular match, I think it was a little friendly game, or it was a Saturday afternoon game, and I was very impressed with him. I didn't see the others really, I just saw him, and I thought, well, there's a boy with lots of abilities. But when I came back, because I only came on that first visit just to have a look around, and when I came back to start my coaching, I realized that there were lots of players here with lots of ability, and that during the period when they were being coached by, what's his name?
Van Silver.
Van Silver, yeah. And I looked at them, they had all the natural, and they were well coached, their techniques were very good. Van Silvers did a wonderful job. Because if you're coaching, the important thing in coaching is to look at your players and your defense. Your defense must be very correct. Shot making, you don't have to be, but if you're correct in your defense, then you can go a long way. And that's the first thing. And I looked at them, and they were very correct as far as that was concerned. And I thought, well, these boys, I have to work on them in a different aspect of it. Because during that period, there was a lot of fast bowlers around the West Indies had. And they weren't just fast bowlers, they were express, because there were fast bowlers before, but these fellas were about 4, 5, 6 yards quicker than some of the bowlers that were bowling before. And playing against India, and in those days the Indians didn't like fast bowling at all. And I thought of the Sri Lankans in a similar light, that they would not appreciate this kind of bowling because they didn't have the bowlers to play against. And unless you practice or you play against bowlers of that type, the first thing you would do is to run away. You'd be shy, you wouldn't get behind the ball. And I thought my job was to brainwash them into the idea that if they want to play Test cricket at that level, then they have to learn how to play these fast bowlers. And I was very fortunate because I had one here who was very quick, Asanta Damel. Because when he first went to England to play, he was probably one of the quickest bowlers they had. So he was here to help me along, to bowl at them, to see how they're going to react. And I was very pleased because after that, I had a team that I had spoken to. I had a team that were willing to accept what I said to them and prepare themselves to take the fast bowlers on. And that was the first job that was done. And look at the technical aspects, where they had technical faults here and there that Van Silvers might not see, haven't played in Test cricket, he did not, and playing against lots of countries, seeing a lot of players play, I had more idea about about certain techniques that he might not have seen. So I had a look at the technical aspects of their game and try to help them with it. And I think that they respond. That was the most important thing. The way they responded was absolutely magnificent. Because here was a stranger who came in, and whatever I said to them, they were prepared to go there and try. And they became very successful. And I had no doubts in my mind that they will win something, because when I left here, in a very difficult situation, it was the day the war broke out when I left, and I had to go through a lot of back streets to get to the airport. I said in an interview, I think it was in Australia or somewhere, that in 10 years' time, that this team would be winning something. And in 1996, they won the World Cup. And I knew they had fulfilled their duties. And since then, they've gone from strength to strength, and they've produced some great players, some of the greatest in the world today. And that was because the foundation was laid, and the ability that the team and the players had, they continue to improve. And today they are forced to reckon with. And I am very pleased to be back here. It's been a long time. 30 years. It's been too long. And having a look at their present team, I think that they've got another very good team on the building for the future. I think they'll do well, even better than they are doing at the present moment. In the next 4 or 5 years, they will be a force to reckon with again.
So can you tell us, because you saw those stations, or what type of performance Arjuna, Aravind, those type of players? Now you can, this time you can see Sri Lanka present team performance, our captain Angelo Matthews, and to so many run score makers, best friend. Can you explain about those days cricket and modern cricket in Sri Lanka? Do you think the way Sri Lankan cricketers go in this type of cricket, they can get once again they can emerge the world champions?
I think I just said that, didn't I? I think that they've got a good future, and I'm sure they'll go on to become a great team again, because what I've seen with the youngsters that are playing at the present moment, they look good. One thing about them, they're positive. And that's the difference between that team and our team that I've seen here playing against them, because you can see when they went into bat, they were more attacking, more aggressive than our players, which makes them a better team in that light, that they're willing to take on the bowlers. And if there are a new team that is rebuilding, and at this age in their career, that they're willing to do that, they can only go on and become better players, and will become a force to reckon with in the game. When I saw Arjuna, I knew he had a lot of ability. There was no doubt in my mind that he was going to be a great player. Arvinder de Silva, he took my heart. I mean, he was only about 14 or 15?
16, yeah.
And he was, he looked the part. He was one of the players that he never shift or shunned from anything. The faster the ball, the more he got behind it. And I knew that he too was going to be a real force and a class. To me, he was one of the best players that the world had. He never really got praise for ability. But I know a lot of country, lots of players thought that he was one of the best players. For a little man, the shots he played, you had to have a lot of ability and a lot of talent to be able to play those shots. Playing through the covers off the quick bowlers on the up is shots that you don't see normally being played by nothing better than great players. And he had that ability. He was really a player. And you had Roy Dias, he was a good player before he came here. A captain, Dulip Mendes. I saw him play on many occasions, and he was always one of these players not the greatest of techniques, but aggression, he had it. He could take a ball apart. I saw him play at Lord's before I came here, and he was a very attacking player. And there were lots of other players that was brought up in that. I can't think of all of them at the present moment, but I knew we had a good team, a very good team, and a team that you can work with. And I was very pleased when I came here. And I am very happy at the way they have progressed over the years. They've gone on from strength to strength.
Sir, I have only one question for you. How do you feel the contribution of Sri Lankan cricket for the upliftment of the game of cricket?
How I feel
How do you feel the contribution
the contribution.
of Sri Lanka for the upliftment of the game of cricket, world cricket?
My contribution, or
I mean the Sri Lanka's contribution, how do you feel?
Sri Lanka's contribution to cricket.
World cricket.
Oh, to world cricket, it's been great. I mean that is a question that you don't really ask. I mean, they have. It's been said by the world. You know, they have played and produced some of the greatest players today. You know, and I think the world has admired them because they were always players who were aggressive and who play shots, and people have always liked that. They weren't the dogged kind of players who went out there and just push up and down the line. They always have that aggression, which the world like to watch, and I've always believed that players should play like that. So I think that they have given the world a great service, and up to the day they're still doing that, and they produce, as I said before, they produce some very, very great players then and now, and they will continue to do so because the mole is there and the competition is there.
So, final question, can you, as a Olympic commentator, most Olympic all-round in the world, can you say something to the young batsmen in Sri Lanka?
You know, I'm really not here for all of this. This is something that was never on my agenda. So you're asking me to go out my way. It's something that I haven't prepared to be. You know, this is like a shock to my system. If I had an idea that I was going to be here with all these microphones and all these cameras and people asking me all these questions, I am sure that I might have sit down and think of what I thought the questions were going to be and how I should answer them. And you're asking me so many questions about so many different things all at a sudden without any preparation. You know, and I'm not a magician. I played cricket and I played reasonably well, and I could normally sort out my own game and the conditions that I was playing under, I can normally go out there and assess it and play to suit. But I don't think you can always assess the questions that come at you one after one, unless you were prepared and you knew some idea, you had some letter or some questions put before you come to sit down to a kind of gathering like this, to talk about it. But you know, Sri Lanka's cricket is going to go on. It's going to get better, and I think that they'll become eventually one of the greatest teams in the world eventually, if they continue to progress the way they are. Because once a country is given the opportunity like Sri Lanka has been given, and they have produced so many great players, and they got so much backing, I think they got the backing of the people of Sri Lanka, which is a great thing. If you have that backing and you have people that are encouraging you, you will get better. And I think that is what is happening. Since I have been here, I find that everybody speaks very highly of the past players and the present players that they have. And they have great ideas of how far they think that they will go. Having a look at them, which I haven't had a lot of it because unfortunately the rain has been falling, the wicket has been spinning. But what I have seen, I think they have a great future, and I think they will continue to produce great players.
A small gift from me.
Oh,
I have written a small note on that.
oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You know, this is really my protege.
I mentioned that in Sinhalese, how you brought me back to the side.